one template for 3 projects, we can do this. I've got a beer flight board, and I've got a wine flight board, and I've also got a charcuterie board. You can make all that with just this one template. So these are fun, they're fast, they're inexpensive to make, and they're profitable. They make for great gifts too. So let's get into it right now. Hey, welcome back to the shop, everybody. So today we're going to be working on a new project. Well, we're working on 3 new projects, actually, using a template that I designed. You'll see the layout of those holes is kind of strange, but it's going to make sense here shortly. So when I create a template, I design around what I might want, and I prefer to have multifunctional templates. So this one template is going to give you 3 different projects, and that's what we're doing today. We're going to be doing a beer flight tasting board. We're going to be doing a wine flight board, and then we're also going to be doing an hors d'oeuvre board, all using the same template. The layouts for the holes are designed so it'll be for the wine glasses or the beer glasses, or we don't do any cutouts in the center. Then you have an hors d'oeuvre platter. So there you go. I will have this in the show notes just so you know, but let's get down to it. I've got some nice wood selected, and I'll walk you through every step. Okay, so I've got a couple of really nice pieces of wood. You don't need to get super crazy good wood on this because you are going to have large holes in the center of this project here, here, and here for the wine glasses, for the beer glasses. So I'm just going to take advantage of some nice little grain here, good figure, and I'm going to go ahead and mark this out. And once I get these marked out, then I'm going to run over my bandsaw and just blast these out. But if you don't have a bandsaw, don't sweat it. Go ahead and use your jigsaw, and you can get the job done. And right now, we're not going to worry about those registration holes in the center of the board. We're just going to get our shapes done like that. Okay, so I'm going to take you over to the bandsaw. Okay, the tasting boards have been cut out on the bandsaw, and on the drill press, I poked a few holes. I'm going to get my jigsaw in there and just clean this out a little bit more so when I use my flush trim bit, it doesn't catch. So I didn't show you this piece here. This is going to be for our hors d'oeuvres, simple glue up. I've got many videos on that, so there you go. It's going to be nice and pretty. With the jigsaw, I just went in and I was just shaving the wood a little bit. It's a little too tight to turn the radius here. If you had a scroll saw, which I actually do, but I just have never used it. It's been sitting for 2 years. One of these days I'll get to it. That would have been handy. So that's all I did. Now it's time to go ahead and put the template on, and I'm using double-sided tape. If you guys want this template, if you need some double-sided tape, just let me know in the order section, because you can leave a comment and I'll spot you a little bit of double-sided tape because I'm a giver. Okay, so I've had this project on my mind for, I don't know, a couple months. My first prototype happened, and I kind of sat and chewed on it, and it's like, I'd really like to find more uses out of that one template. So it took me a few tries, but I've got a winner now, and I'm happy with it. This is a simple project, and it should be a decent seller. It's a great gift idea. We used to live in Placerville, California, and for a hobby, I was a brewer, winemaker, and distiller, and we entertained an awful lot. And so with the beer and wine, we'd have friends over on a regular basis, and we'd do flights. So this is a real cool way to do it. My template's a little dirty, so I'm going to clean that off. I'm just going to line this up so I can take it over to the flush trim bit. Now, flush trim bits, I use a couple of varieties of them. I use Amana, I use Whiteside, and I also use Crafted Elements. And I like all 3 of them. They work really well. I've used the, I think they call it a SPE flesh trim bit. Didn't like that very much. It got very dull very quick. Okay, let's go ahead and get this off to the router table. All right, it turned out great. Now, this is kind of a tight spot, and you're gonna have to start across the grain. So you need to be very careful with that. Take very small bites and don't just jam into the flesh trim bit. You want to ease into it. Think of it, you're an airplane and you're gliding in and you're going to touch down on the runway as smoothly as possible. That's exactly what you want to do here. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. You're probably getting the idea this is a pretty quick project, and it truly is. I would imagine we'll get these 3 boards done in under 2 hours. It's kind of hard to gauge when you're talking to the camera, but I think that's about the way it's going to go. So now what I need to do is make sure that we get these registration marks set down on all the wood. So for the wine taster, these are the glasses that I'm using, and I've got in the show notes, I'll have the links to the glasses for the wine and little beer tasters as well. So we're going to have 3 wine glasses. So it's going to be the 2 outer edges and the 1 hole in the direct center. So I'm simply going to make a mark in those. And then I'll go through and do the beer taster next. Then we're going to take this over to the benchtop drill press. This could be a little interesting because it's underpowered, and I'm going to be using some Forstner bits that are going to push its going to push the envelope a little bit. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and run a 1/2 inch round over on the outside, and then I'm going to do an 1/8 inch round over on the inside hole here. That's going to look really sharp. And just for clarity, this is what the beer taster is going to look like. So we have the 5 holes, and we're not going to mark that center hole because that was, again, for the wine glasses. So there you go. We don't want you to make a mistake. So I've got my 1/8 inch round over installed, and I don't know if the height is just perfectly correct. So I always run a test strip to make sure, and let's find out what the deal is. Okay, so you can see just this little edge, and I think that's just going to be perfect for that handle portion. And then we'll do the 1/2 inch round over. Now, the reason I'm doing this particular bit right now is I'm going to do the handles, and then later we'll do the 1/2 inch round over on the sides. But then we're going to do the cutouts for the wine glasses and the beer glasses, and those are going to get the 1/2 inch round over too. So that way I'm not swapping bits more than I have to. Well, check this out. It's looking really beautiful. I like the handle. I like that little 1/8 inch radius round over and then the 1/2 inch over here. It's kind of sleek, kind of sexy. So that's working out great. So I bought 2 bits for this. These are Forstner bits, and you can see that tip right there. Well, what I'm going to do is use a nail set, and I am going to smack a hole right in the center of each of these holes. And that will be to make sure that this indexes nicely into the holes here. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and go over to the drill press. I'm going to make that machine work mighty hard. I'm going to get everything clamped down real nice with a spoil board, and we'll hope for the best. I've got my beer taster all set up. I've indexed, and I'm clamped down sizes. For the beer taster, the beer glasses that are in the links, this is a 2-inch Forstner bit. And for the wine glasses, that'll be in the link, that's a 2.5 inch Forstner bit. So this is a small but mighty machine. It actually has done a very good job for me. I think this is going to work out just fine. So in time lapse, let's get this done. How about that? The mighty win for the win. That turned out beautifully. And you know, the machine is very inexpensive. It is underpowered, but it does the job for what I need to have done. And it sure helps to have sharp bits too. Okay, off camera, I'm going to finish these and then we'll talk about how we're going to route this out and finish this project up. Well, the 2-inch holes went really easy. That was no problem. The 2.5-inch holes were a bit of an ask, but I did get the job done and I didn't tear anything out. It looks good. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the round over of all these holes. And I'll bring you back and we'll talk about finish. Well, I'm pretty happy. I like the round over. I like the way the glass fits in, nice and stable. You carry your beer tasters around like this, set it down at the table, you're good to go. You've got your hors d'oeuvres or tapas, if you will, your charcuterie board. I'm liking it. Okay, here's the game plan. I'm going to go ahead and do the sanding off camera. I'm going to start at 120. I'll go to 180, water pop, come back, sand it again at 180, and then I'll bring it back for finish. I'm going to be using Osmocoat. It's a nice durable finish and you won't have to fuss with it. It's easy to apply and it doesn't smell up your shop. Okay, we're all sanded and ready to roll here. I did use my spindle sander on the inside and then did hand sanding on these roundovers. That took a few minutes, so keep that in mind. But all in all, a very quick project. So it's time to finish this up with poly. It's Osmo. And the reason I'm using the Osmo is it's water repellent. So that's going to be a benefit because there's no doubt that these will eventually get wet. Somebody's going to spill or whatever. So there you go. I'm going to pan down. I'm going to show you how to apply this really quick, and then we're going to wrap this video up. Osmo is super easy to apply. I've got a clean cloth, and I just simply dab it up. I spread it around. I go with the grain as best as I can. And when I'm all done, I'll wipe off any excess residue. Then I'll let it sit and dry for 8 to 10 hours before I apply the next coat. And I'm going to apply it just the exact same way, let it sit for another 8 to 10 hours. And then at that point, you could take out your buffing wheel and go to town and bring it a little bit of a sheen out. I don't do that. This is a satin to begin with, so I'm really not concerned about getting some sort of a gloss out of it. But your mileage may vary. So this is pretty cool. It's been a fun project. I hope you've enjoyed. It's a wrap. We've got the beer taster done. We've got the wine taster all wrapped up. Turned out beautifully. And we've got the charcuterie board all made from the one template that I showed you earlier. Now, if you wanted to kind of spruce this project up a little bit, you could spend a little bit more time and maybe with the walnut run a thin strip of maple or purple heart right down the center. I think that'd be artful. Just depends on what you want to do, how much time you want to put into this. So in the show notes, I've got the template for you. And I've also included the Forstner Bits that I used and the glasses that I used. So there you go. Gosh, we've got more coming up and I appreciate y'all following along. If you haven't subscribed, please do so and also hit the bell. That way you get all my notifications and we're going to see you next time. Hey, thanks everybody. Appreciate it.